Hello everybody, welcome to my channel Homeopathic Super Sessions by Dr. Jacobs. Today I'll be dealing with the second chapter of Carroll Dunham's book, Antagonism between Homeopathy and Allopathy. This is the part 1 of it. So in this chapter, Carroll Dunham will tell you what opposition, antagonism meaning opposition, what opposition was there between homeopathy and allopathy. On this title, an address was done at the semi-annual meeting of the Homeopathic Medical Society of the State of New York on 10th February 1863. The object of the society was to deal with the advancement of science of medicine. Firstly, antagonism will be discussed from two angles, that is the historical and the philosophical angle. So in this video, the first part of historical view will be discussed. So let us see what is the historical perspective of the antagonistic view between homeopathy and allopathy. Samuel Hahnemann was a great reformer of medicine and the founder of homeopathy. He introduced important fundamental changes in the practice of the new healing art. This made him a genius, scholar, and a man of dauntless energy. So as you all know, our great master, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, he founded homeopathy and he incorporated important changes which changed the state of medicine, which was prevailing during that time. This made Dr. Hahnemann not only a genius, but a scholar and a man of dauntless energy. Ufland, the pioneer of the orthodox school of medicine, though a critic, speaks most highly of Dr. Hahnemann as the most distinguished physicians of Germany. So as you all know, Ufland also was a great critic of Dr. Hahnemann. Whenever Dr. Hahnemann used to publish his articles in Ufland's journal, which was generally an allopathic article or rather an allopathic journal, Ufland always used to criticize Hahnemann by saying that homeopathy can cure the symptoms, but the disease remains. So, as you can see, Ufland at a point in time, he also praised Hahnemann by saying that Dr. Hahnemann is the most distinguished physician of Germany. Forbes, another critic, also opposed the new line of medical reform which Dr. Hahnemann discovered, namely homeopathy. So, besides Ufland, even Forbes was another critic. Hahnemann tells the orthodox profession was full of uncertainty in its medical practice as it had many injurious effects. So, Dr. Hahnemann, he himself being an eclectic physician, he noticed that there were many faults or there were many wrongs in what treatment was going on as an eclectic physician. And he said that this practice of medicine was very uncertain as it had many bad effects, side effects or injurious effects. Gritnanner, Sir John Forbes and many others agreed and said that this method of treatment should be amended or ended. So, as you all know, because of the side effects, many people believed that what Dr. Hahnemann said was correct and this treatment should be amended or ended. So some modifications had to be brought out in this treatment if the treatment or if the system of medicine wanted to continue without its injurious side effects, or if no action was to be taken, then this pathy would have ended or to end the pathy. Hahnemann was true to himself and did not continue his practice as an allopathic physician, even though he could earn good money and make a decent living. So, as you all know, Hahnemann also was from the same school and he could have easily disregarded the injurious effects and he could have easily started his practice as an allopathic physician and he could easily earn his daily living and also good money. But Dr. Hahnemann did not do that because he was true to himself, he was very honest, and what he observed was the truth. So he had to bring it out to the world. Hahnemann refused to make believe that this system could cure the sick, and his mind was constantly active to improve the current system of medicine, which was popular at that time. So Hahnemann said that this system of medicine could not make the sick back to health, or could not get the sick back to health. And he definitely agreed that some improvement has to be brought out with this medicine, which was so popular during that time. He said that the prevailing system of medicine in general was blind and did not cure the sick person. He furthermore said that this system of medicine was blind. It had no proper foundation, no proper experimentation. It was totally blind. It was just like hitting an arrow in the dark, and it did not cure the sick person. Specific remedies were used to cure the sick whose properties were unknown. So why did he say that this system of medicine did not cure the sick person? Because specific remedies were used to cure the sick whose properties were unknown. So the Materia Medica was full of hypotheses, full of theories, full of a hearsay. They did not know exactly what medicine was useful for which condition, but they thought, they believed that this specific medicine was useful for such a condition. Hence, the actual action of the medicine were unknown. Thus, if these uncertainties in medical practice would be removed, it would be of great use in treatment. So, Dr. Hahnemann said that if the uncertainties were removed, then uncertainties meaning the specific action of the drug used for specific diseases, which was just a speculative idea in their minds. So therefore, Carroll Dunham also agreed that the uncertainties should be removed, then only it will become a great use in the treatment. Thus, the exact properties of the drug had to be known beforehand, then only it would be applicable to the disease. So for this, he says that in order to make this treatment a useful treatment, which was so popular during that time, the exact properties of the drug had to be known. That means what was the action of the drug on which system, or what properties that particular drug had to be known. Specifics had been expressed by Bacon, Boyle, and Sydenham with poor results. So you see in history of medicine also, specifics were there and they were expressed by these great personalities. Hahnemann then went to discover this new system of homeopathy. So Dr. Hahnemann was very sad, he was very dejected, and he was very unhappy with the current system of medicine. So therefore, he went to discover the new system of medicine, namely the homeopathy. Hahnemann's discovery of homeopathy can be compared to the falling apple, what it did to Newton, and the swinging chandelier in the church at Pisa to Galileo. So Hahnemann's discovery of homeopathy can be compared to the falling apple, what it did to Newton. That, as you all knew, the falling apple fell from a tree and Newton discovered the law of gravity. Similarly, the swinging chandelier in the church at Pisa to Galileo. A casual observation in Cullen's Materia Medica gave him the clue to the discovery of homeopathy. So you all know that homeopathy was discovered when Dr. Hahnemann was translating the Cullen's Materia Medica, volume 2, page 108, and wherein he found out that the astringent and the bitter properties of cinchona bark were responsible for curing malaria. But Hahnemann found out that there were more astringent and more bitter substances present which did not cure malaria. So this question was in his mind and he went on experimenting, and this is how he discovered homeopathy. He observed that by knowing the specific properties of the drugs which were proved on healthy persons, you could administer to the sick who show similar symptoms. So naturally, Dr. Hahnemann said that the specific properties of the drug had to be proved on healthy person. So you had to know first the effects of the drugs on a healthy person. Then only you will be able to cure the sick who shows similar symptoms. Hahnemann also collected a vast amount of evidence about the speculation done by the old school of medicine. So in order to support his claim, Hahnemann had collected a great number of data in which he said that nothing but speculation was done by the old school of medicine. No proper experimentation, no proper formulation of the drugs were done, but only a theory or a hypothesis was kept forward. So in short, speculation was done. However, Hahnemann then began to verify his theory by actual experiment. So in order to prove that he was correct, or in order to prove the homeopathic system of medicine would be of much better use than the current system of medicine, he started verifying his theory by actual experiment. So what did he do? He first proved the drugs on himself, his family members, and also on other healthy provers. So as you all know, in his whole lifetime, Dr. Hahnemann proved 99 drugs. So initially, he started proving the drug on himself, later on his family members, and also on his other colleagues and friends on which were healthy, so that they could, so that they were healthy provers. He then started putting in practice those drugs which were proved in his daily cases that presented with similar symptoms to those produced by the drug. So in his daily practice, when he was practicing, he started experimenting, and he started, once he knew the properties of the drugs which he had proved on healthy human beings, he started treating the patients along with the law of similars in those patients who had similar symptoms as that of the drug he used to administer it. Thus, from 1790 to 1805, he proved more than 60 drugs. All these provings were published in his first part of his Materia Medica and later on elaborated in his work on organ. So all these provings were done and they were published in the Materia Medica Pura, and later on all of his work about drug proving was made known in his work of organ. This was a turning point in his career, and he attained a position in his profession which justified him with brilliant success. So by discovering the new system of medicine, namely homeopathy, this was a turning point in his career, and he had brilliant success with this new system of medicine. Having attained success, he now openly criticized the prevailing method of treatment and suggested modifications. So once he was sure the homeopathy system of medicine was useful, he started openly criticizing the current system of medicine, and he definitely suggested some modifications. He says to a letter in Euflan, if experience shows you that my method is the best, then make use of it for the benefit of mankind and give God the glory. So he again wrote a letter to Euflan saying that if you think my method is the best, then please let mankind have benefit of it and let God be glorified. So he was a great believer in God. He says because of God, he was able to investigate and form the new system of medicine, and hence he is given his rightful attribute to God also. In 1811 appeared the Antagonism of Professor Hecker about the principle on which homeopathy was based. So Professor Hecker also in 1811 started criticizing the organon of what Dr. Hahnemann had written and about these principles on which homeopathy was based. However, this did not stop Hahnemann, and he proceeded further with ever-increasing success. So this anti-organon move by Professor Hecker did not bother Hahnemann, and Dr. Hahnemann went on further proceeding in the science of homeopathy with great success. His fame as a practitioner grew rapidly, and he started seeing patients from considerable distances. So as a practitioner, he gained great fame and great name, as a result of which different people or different patients from different parts of the country from long distances came to visit him. Thus, he made his colleagues in Cloyne-Slutter enemies. So that time he was practicing in Cloyne-Slutter. His other colleagues were there. Naturally, they were very jealous, or they became very envious of Dr. Hahnemann. So what happened? As a result, the pharmacies which sold the drug of the old school of medicine, known as apothecary, brought a prosecution against Hahnemann for infringement of laws which forbade the sale of medicine by practitioners. So what happened is envious colleagues were there. These colleagues went on and they formed an association, and they brought a case against Dr. Hahnemann by saying that you cannot dispense your own drug, or he forbade the sale of medicine by practitioners. So a law was passed, and he said that this law was infringing by Dr. Hahnemann, or he disobeyed the law and Dr. Hahnemann was dispensing medicine. It should be noted that Hahnemann prescribed only a single drug, which was simple to prepare as compared to the multiple doses of drugs used during that time. So this also was another envious setback to the other physicians, because Dr. Hahnemann only used to give a single simple remedy in the unadulterated form as compared to the prevailing system of medicine, which gave multiple dosage and which used combination of drugs. That also made his colleagues very envious. Thus, Hahnemann was forbidden to practice. So the dictum was that Hahnemann was not allowed to practice. So what happened? He left Loinslatter and proceeded to Hamburg. In Hamburg, the same prosecution followed, so he left for Eltonia. So in Hamburg also, he gained name and fame. So again, people were again jealous there. Again, the same prosecution followed, and he left for Eltonia. Thus, from 1799 to 1821, Hahnemann changed his abode at least 11 times. So you can see Dr. Hahnemann, how much pressure he was under, how much stress he had to endure, and he had to change his place of practice 11 times, because each time he practiced in a particular place, the prosecution was the same, that he could not dispense his own medicine because of the envy of the other physicians who did not want the homeopathic system of medicine to come up. His last place was Leipzig, where he had pursued his earliest medical studies, for which he had a special affection. So as you all know, in the University of Erlangen in Leipzig, Dr. Hahnemann has pursued his medical studies, and naturally, he had a special affection for the place. In the later years, he established a homeopathic college and had a lecture in 2 large audiences. So later on, homeopathic college was established, and a number of lectures were given to a large number of audience. Hahnemann was 66 years old, and he was also driven off from Leipzig. So again, in Leipzig also, at the age of 66, Hahnemann was driven out from Leipzig. He was however, offered asylum in the tiny Dutch capital of Anhalt-Köthen. At Köthen, his career was on the upswing with ever-increasing fame. He saw patients from all parts of Europe. In Paris, he obtained a license to practice from the government, and he died in 1843 in Paris. So when he went to Paris, he obtained a license and he was allowed to practice. But as you all know, his death took place in 1843 in Paris. In 1851, that is 8 years after his death, the town council of Leipzig allotted a beautiful plot of land for the site of his monument, which consisted of a bronze statue. Hence, this is the origin and the antagonism between homeopathy and the dominant school of medicine, where he showed the imperfections of the current medicine. So therefore, this is the historical origin of the opposition or the antagonism between homeopathy and the dominant school of medicine, which showed imperfection of the current method. So the dominant system of medicine, namely the allopathic system, was there. It was, however, imperfect. They used specific drugs, which was not correct. There were no sound principles on which the system of medicine was based. It was only based on empty speculation. So hence, Dr. Hahnemann was very disappointed. And naturally, because of this, because of the new system of medicine, homeopathy, there was an opposition from the old school. So therefore, constant opposition was there, or antagonism was there between homeopathy and the dominant school of medicine. He discovered something better and offered it to his colleagues. So what did Dr. Hahnemann do? He discovered a good system of medicine, which was much better than the existing system of medicine, and he offered it to his colleagues. He begged them to investigate it and use it for good of mankind. So he literally pleaded with his colleagues that you please see this new system of medicine to thoroughly investigate it and then only use it for the good of mankind. Regarding the little dose, Hahnemann saw the necessity of giving small doses, which he prescribed according to the law of homeopathy. So, as compared to the old school, where massive doses were given or large physiological doses of the medicine were given, Dr. Hahnemann said that a little dose or the smallest dose would be of great use. He did not express himself with firmness and conviction of the usefulness of these small doses. But Dr. Hahnemann did not express himself, or he did not put out his thoughts in a very convincing manner to his colleagues of the little doses or the usefulness of the little doses. The opposition made a huge cry for this, and they did not take this into account. And naturally, the opposition made a huge cry, and they did not take the small doses into account. And naturally, again, they opposed Dr. Hahnemann. So this is all about the historical aspect. Part 2 will be coming soon. So please stay tuned for more, and please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, Homeopathic Super Sessions by Dr. Charles. Thank you very much.